अ, आप सभी को नमस्कार, गुड मॉर्निंग। मैं शुभम, सहायक निदेशक वैज्ञानिक बी, वाइब्रेंट गुजरात 2026 के इस भव्य मंच पर आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत करता हूं। आज का हमारा विषय है मेक इन इंडिया और आत्मनिर्भर भारत के लिए उत्प्रेरक कैटलिस्ट के रूप में मानक। मेक इन इंडिया का मतलब सिर्फ भारत में उत्पादन या मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करना नहीं है, बल्कि विश्व स्तरीय गुणवत्ता के साथ उत्पादन करना है। जब हमारे उत्पाद सख्त भारतीय मानकों और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मानकों पर खरे उतरते हैं, तभी वे आत्मनिर्भर भारत की सच्ची पहचान बनते हैं। मानक यह सुनिश्चित करते हैं कि हमारे स्थानीय सामान को अंतर्राष्ट्रीय बाजार में विश्वसनीयता और स्वीकार्यता मिले। आइए हम सब मिलकर यह सुनिश्चित करें कि भारत से निकलने वाला हर उत्पाद गुणवत्ता के प्रतीक बने। आज हम इस दिशा में आगे बढ़ने के लिए महत्वपूर्ण चर्चाएं करेंगे। आज हमारे साथ टेक्निकल सेशंस में हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं श्री अमित प्रशांत जी, डीन ऑफ एक्सटर्नल रिलेशंस आईआईटी गांधीनगर, डॉक्टर आदित्य जैन जी, डीजीएम नेशनल डेयरी डेवलपमेंट बोर्ड, स्क्वाड्रन लीडर संजय वशिष्ठ जी, चीफ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ऑफिसर अंबुजा सीमेंट लिमिटेड कोडिनार, श्री जिग्नेश चौकसी जी, एसोसिएट वाइस प्रेसिडेंट वेल्सपन अंजार, मिस अनिदिता मेहता जी, चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफिसर कंज्यूमर एजुकेशन एंड रिसर्च सेंटर एंड ऑल्सो मेंबर ऑफ गवर्निंग काउंसिल, श्री मुकेश महाजन जी, सीनियर डायरेक्टर फेरोमेटिक मिलाक्रॉन इंडिया लिमिटेड। अब मैं डायस पे इनवाइट करना चाहूँगा हमारे उप महानिदेशक पश्चिमी क्षेत्र वी गोपीनाथ सर को, मिस अनिदिता मेहता जी, चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफिसर कंज्यूमर एजुकेशन एंड रिसर्च सेंटर, ऑल्सो मेंबर ऑफ गवर्निंग काउंसिल, पारिजात शुक्ला सर, हेड राजकोट ब्रांच ऑफिस, सुमित सिंगर सर, हेड अहमदाबाद ब्रांच ऑफिस BIS, ऋतुराज सर, हेड गांधीधाम ब्रांच ऑफिस BIS। अब इस कार्यक्रम के औपचारिक शुभारंभ का समय आ गया है। जैसा कि हमारी परंपरा है, ज्ञान और ऊर्जा के प्रतीक दीप प्रज्वलन से ही किसी भी शुभ कार्य का आरंभ होता है। अब मैं हमारे उप महानिदेशक वी गोपीनाथ सर, गुजरात में स्थित भारतीय मानक ब्यूरो के सभी शाखा प्रमुखों एवं सभी स्पीकर से सादर आग्रह करता हूं कि वे दीप प्रज्वलित कर कार्यक्रम का शुभारंभ करें। धन्यवाद। अब मैं DDGW सर वी गोपीनाथ सर से निवेदन करता हूं कि वह स्पीकर्स को BIS की तरफ से प्लांट देकर उनका स्वागत करें। सबसे पहले मैं बुलाना चाहूँगा श्री अमित प्रशांत जी, डीन ऑफ डॉक्टर आदित्य जैन जी, DGM नेशनल डेयरी डेवलपमेंट बोर्ड, स्क्वाड्रन लीडर संजय वशिष्ठ जी, चीफ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ऑफिसर अंबुजा सीमेंट लिमिटेड कोडिनार, श्री जिग्नेश चौकसी जी, एसोसिएट वाइस प्रेसिडेंट, वेल्सपन अंजार। मिस अनिंदिता मेहता जी, चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफिसर, कंज्यूमर एजुकेशन एंड रिसर्च सेंटर। मिस अनिंदिता मेहता जी, चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफिसर, कंज्यूमर। श्री मुकेश महाजन जी, सीनियर डायरेक्टर, फेरोमेटिक मिलाक्रॉन इंडिया लिमिटेड। थैंक यू, थैंक यू। सभी अतिथिगण से मैं अनुरोध करते हुए अपना सीट ग्रहण करें। अब मैं हमारे उप महानिदेशक पश्चिमी क्षेत्र वी गोपीनाथ सर से निवेदन करता हूँ कि वे आज के कार्यक्रम के प्रयोजन और उद्देश्य के बारे में हम सभी को अवगत करें।
Respected speakers of the day, specifically Ma'am Anindita Mehta Madam, who is not just the Chief Executive Officer of Consumer Education Research Center, but she is also a member of our Governing Council of BIS, and my colleagues here and dear friends. It's a great moment for me to come here and be a part of this celebration of the vibrant Gujarat Regional Center. It has been a great endeavor from the Government of India under the able directions of the Prime Minister to aim for self-sufficiency as per the Aatmanirbhar Bharat program. But there is one catchphrase in it, because you cannot attain self-sufficiency if you do not maintain high standards, whether it is the standards of the product that is being offered into the market or the services being offered. So here Bureau of Indian Standards, which is not just a government body but which involves all stakeholders, whether it is the academicians or researchers, whether it's the regulators, whether the industry, consumer bodies, and many other stakeholders who are a part of this gambit of industry and services. They are involved in the formulation of national standards. Madam Anindita Mehta, I have a good earlier association with her. She's member of many of our technical committees, including the technical committees when I was a part of the Food and Agriculture Department of BIS, which is involved in the standardization of the field of food and agriculture products and systems. And one of my favorite, she was a member of one of my favorite technical committees that was on food additives, and she has made a great contribution in that. So as a representative of consumer bodies, she has played a big role in as well as you are also a member of the Food and Agriculture Division Council also, I think. Yeah. So, and then many industries are also, because none of those industries I am seeing here with whom I interacted when I was a part of the Food and Agriculture. But I think many of you are members of our various technical committees. So this involvement of stakeholders, that is one of the prime feature of any national standardization, and BIS is also following that feature, which is available everywhere. And as a extension of this standardization, we have brought a lot of certification systems. There are 4 product-based certification systems, which includes the popularly known ISA mark, plus we have the registration mark for electronics and IT products, the certificate of conformity, and the latest one is the scheme 10, which is for low voltage switch gears as well as for machine safety, which is coming under the omnibus technical regulations. Then we also have the management system certification. Of course, there it's a very crowded field, but still that also we are doing in a good way, in a large way. Then we have the hallmarking certification for gold and silver jewelry and artifacts. So in a way, we are trying to be a bridge between the consumers and the manufacturers and service providers. That the manufacturers who show some inclination to maintain great standards, they come to us, that we would like to communicate to the overall consumers that we are making good quality products. Kindly certify us so that the consumers recognize our. And for the consumers also, this is this is a choice. Like this is a BIS certified goods or services, so definitely it will be maintaining some standards, that what you call optimum level of standards, which is what is the national standards. So this is in short what the organization stands for. And when we talk about Aatmanirbhar Bharat or self-sufficient India, definitely this has to be a very important factor. And I hope all the speakers today will bring out these facts in a very subtle manner, and will be able to give a good recommendation to the government of Gujarat as well as the government of India about how to go about improving the quality infrastructure of this country. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू सर। अब जैसा कि मैंने आपको स्टार्टिंग में बताया था कि हम बहुत महत्वपूर्ण चर्चाएं करेंगे मेक इन इंडिया और आत्मनिर्भर भारत के लिए जो कैटलिस्ट मानक के रूप में। तो सबसे पहले मैं टेक्निकल सेशंस में बुलाना चाहूँगा श्री आदित्य जैन जी, DGM नेशनल डेयरी डेवलपमेंट बोर्ड।
Thank you. So very good morning to all of you. I've joined a little late. I got caught up in the traffic. It was not anticipated that Rajkot will have so much of traffic today. So that also speaks of the vibrancy of the festival. As I'm from the dairy background, I'll speak about the relevance of contemporary dairy food standards as a catalyst for Make in India or Aatmanirbhar Bharat. So a little bit about the dairy sector. As you all may be also aware, the dairy sector is a sector where India is actually the leader in global milk production. And since 1998, we have been maintaining this position, which is a great thing. And in 2023-24 financial year, this milk production was to the tune of 239 million tons. And the second largest milk producer is in the world is US, which is roughly about half of what we are producing. So we are quite way ahead of our next competitor. We are also the largest consumer of milk and milk products. We are in that sense Aatmanirbhar, because we produce and we consume, but we do not import for the major consumption part of the milk and dairy consumption. We do not import. There is some import of cheeses and some fancy products, which is for the niche market. And so we are largely self-sufficient in when it comes to dairy. We also do not export right now. So it is a sort of a balanced kind of situation where we are consuming what we are producing, and we do not have to import, we do not export. Export is to the tune of 0.1 or 0.5% of what we produce. However, there is a window of opportunity there, because in next 7 to 10 years it is envisaged that the milk production that has been currently growing at the rate of 4 to 6% in the last decade will definitely reach a situation where our supplies will be more than the demand. And once this situation happens, we need to start looking at more revenues so as to remain competitive, and also to ensure that the farmers in our country keep on receiving the remuneration that they deserve. So in those circumstances, we will have to think about exporting, and these standards will come into more picture, and more important they will become in that sense. Now what about the standards right now? Right now the dairy standards are also at par with any international standards. I'll give you a little more history about it, and that will sort of help you understand how these standards have been actually catalyzing the growth of dairy sector in the country. During 2011 to 2014, NDDB, BIS and other stakeholders worked with the Food Safety Standards Authority of India to review the dairy product standards. And these were one of the first set of standards that were reviewed and harmonized. And in doing so, it was ensured that they remain contemporary, that they remain science-based, that they are developed or reviewed or amended with the help of stakeholder consultations, so that they are consensus-based and they are from farm to fork. So many aspects were appropriately revised and harmonized with the standards established by the Codex Alimentarius Commission, which are considered as the reference standards for food in international trade. So not only domestic part was considered, it was also considered that when we in future, that was 1 decade from now, but then still we were aware of that situation that we might need to export. So that is also helpful in a way that when you are at par with some internationally recognized or developed standard, where so many countries sit together, including India, and develop standards, that means you have already reached a mark. It doesn't mean that you have to adopt the standards as such, because there are situations you may not be able to adopt the things as such. So you need to weigh, you need to review, assess, and then think of adopting. A classical example is of that of lead in milk, which was first considered for adoption of codex limit in 2003. The codex limit was 0.02 and is 0.02 in milk. Our limit was that time 2.5 ppm. And when we reviewed the standard, and when we reviewed the situation prevailing in the country, we found that 80% of our milk would not be able to meet the codex standard if we were to harmonize it in 2003. So it is not just adopting. Then the government took a decision, had already taken steps to reduce lead in all food products. They had banned leaded petrol in 2000. So that would actually take effect. Its impact would happen only after a decade. That was known scientifically. So it was in 2015 that we sort of harmonized our standard for lead in milk with that of the Codex Alimentarius. Just to give an example that it is not simply adopting, it's also judging your own situation and then adopting. So many aspects of these were harmonized. One of the important aspects was also to retain identity of indigenous products. For example, prior to that, malai and cream, they were defined together. Ghee and butter oil were defined together. So they were separated out, because malai is not cream. Malai is a different indigenous product. It has altogether different characteristics. Maybe it is fat rich, both are fat rich, but it is different than cream. So they were defined separately so as to have a indigenous identity. Similarly, was the case for ghee. Ghee and butter oil are both 100%, almost 100% fat, but that doesn't mean they are the same products. So they were defined similarly, so they were separated out. We also ensured that when we adopted the standards for cheeses from the Codex Alimentarius, the paneer was not clubbed with cottage cheese. Another example of how you maintain the identity of your own products. So that was another aspect that was importantly considered. So another example was that of, to facilitate the Make in India, was at that time flavored yogurt was allowed. You can add in yogurt, which is a sort of western counterpart of dahi. You could add any flavor or pulp, fruit pulps or fruit juices, etc., and make some flavored products. But it was not allowed for dahi, which is an indigenous product. So we just sort of reviewed and ensured that flavored dahi manufacturing should also be allowed. Why should our indigenous product be put at disadvantage? And why should our industry be put at disadvantage? So that was also sort of thought out. And another important thing was, which is very specific to dairy sector, was guidance on the use of dairy terms. So this is one area which is only probably happening with existing with the dairy products. No other dairy food sector has this kind of guidance. So that speaks of the nutritional value of milk, how important that is, and that's why you need to have a sort of guidance for the use of dairy terms so that they are not misused. Now, in doing so, it is also more relevant, not only for globe, but it is more relevant for the indigenous Bharatiya people, because we are having a significant population of lacto-vegetarian people, for whom milk is the sole source of animal protein. That is very important, because you cannot solely actually survive on only vegetarian source of proteins. They are complementary actually. So these kinds of things were taken into account to facilitate the growth of indigenous food industry, specifically dairy sector, and also to catalyze the self-dependency so that you don't have to import certain products from the outside. I would just like to ask one question. I think all of you are learned people and most of you will be knowing, but just wanted out of curiosity, how many of us, when we go to purchase ice cream, actually see the label and ensure that we are purchasing ice cream? How many of us are aware that there is a similar product called frozen dessert existing in the market and it is sold in the similar packages as ice cream is sold? So we can see 25 to 30 people. Let me say all of you are aware of, but many outside consumer people do not know that these are two different products, and that awareness needs to be generated. That is where this kind of guidance comes into play. You cannot call frozen dessert with the term ice cream. You cannot call a butter-like yellow product with the name butter. It's actually a vegetable fat-based spread, which is mostly being used when you go for having, ordering butter pav bhaji or butter paratha, etc. Have you ever gone and seen and asked, what are you adding? When you are telling me you are giving me a butter paratha. Most of the small and large, even well-known chains are using Neutralite, which is not actually a butter. It looks like butter, but it is not actually a butter. Similar is the case with, ghee. They may be using certain other things, and paneer, and so on and so forth. You would also see in the market there are certain beverages based on plant-based beverages like soya beverage or almond beverages. They tend to say that we are replacement for milk. In fact, before 2017, they were calling themselves milk, soya milk. And when 2017 we adopted these guidelines, they had to remove that milk from it because it is confusing to the consumer. We have nothing against that product, but this is confusing to the consumer. Consumer needs to have the right to have an informed choice. And that's how these things have been done. And there were many other positive things done. Those who are in the industry would know that prior to harmonization of food additives with those in Codex Alimentarius, it was very difficult to manufacture proprietary products because many food additives were not allowed. But after that harmonization, many GMP, these are the safest food additives which can be used as the general good manufacturing practices. So there is no numerical bar on their use. They have at least been harmonized, and any proprietary product can now use it. This is another case of flexibility that is given to the industry through the means of standards. And if you don't do it, you are actually strangulating your own industry. So the standards need to be enabling, they need to be science-based, they need to be consensus-based, including consensus of all stakeholders, and they need to be from farm to fork, and they also need to be contemporary. Whatever is happening in the world, we should at least assess and see that whether we can also adopt those standards. So that's all has been done in case of dairy products. However, having said that, I would say that this is not a one-time exercise, that you have harmonized, that you have updated your standards and you are good. It is a continuous process. There are continuous developments at international level, there are continuous developments in the science, technology, the consumer behavior is changing. All these things are required to be taken into account, and continuously you need to focus on revision of the standards and so that they remain practical, enabling, and continue to catalyze the growth of the industry, which would which would actually facilitate Aatmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India. So with that, I think I would close my presentation. Thank you.
धन्यवाद सर। अगली कड़ी में और टेक्निकल सेशंस में मैं बुलाना चाहूँगा। यस सर, यस सर, प्लीज़।
Thank you, Dr. Jed. Actually, I would like to introduce myself also as a dairy technologist. Thank you. So, I was also a part of the dairy food sector for maybe only one and a half years only before I joined BIS. You talked about our Indian milk production of our 239 metric ton. Here, I heard a very great joke that once when we were boasting in the European community, they said that no, you are not the largest producer because we are one nation, we are like a one nation. So we still have more production than you, so you are not the largest. So that is how, the white man sees us. They just don't want to acknowledge our development.
So can I add? To add to what sir is saying, our milk production put together is even more than all the European Union put together.
That's really great. That's really great.
But then, as you are saying, what they do is, they say that, okay, let us compare only cow milk. So cow milk, because they are higher in cow milk put together, so they will only say that cow milk is the milk.
Okay. Okay, again, another one thing which I heard about cow milk also, I'd like to add. Let us denigrate them also. Our cow milk has at least 4% fat. They are now coming up to 2.5%.
It's actually a high volume means lower total solid.
Yeah. But another thing which I feel you missed out, which is a matter of great happiness for all of us, that when I was doing my graduation, at that time ICMR had fixed a value of 212 grams per person per day for milk consumption. And India was roughly around 150. The availability was around 150. Today it is 479, which is really a great performance. I think we all need to be happy about it. Yeah. So that is a great this one. And as far as exports is concerned, let us not be too this one about it.
We are not focusing on exports.
No, let us not. It's not question of. Let us not even think about it, because it is a time has come when Indian people definitely need to be consuming more milk products. I still remember just somewhere in 2017-18, I had attended a meeting when I was in Delhi in Food and Agriculture Department of BIS. I had attended a meeting of the Dairy Development Commission or something, which was looking after the NDDP, this one. Yeah, so they had there was a talk about excess of skim milk powder available in stock in various dairies, both in cooperative sector as well as in private sector, and it was alarming, and they were trying to find out how to dispose it off, and so they decided that let us freely distribute it to the Anganwadi schemes. And then they were even talking about let us send it free to Afghanistan. This was another. So there is no need of being paranoid about higher milk production. We can ourselves consume that also. We don't need to consume milk from outside. That is one thing which let us be very frank about. Then the next part which you have told about is about standards. So you told about codex, how we should be careful in harmonizing standards because it should not affect our industry. But when we are ready, we should adopt it. So that's really a great achievement. Paneer, right from this paneer cottage cheese business. This is something which I feel our catering people have spoilt it, messed it up, because paneer is not cottage cheese. It cannot be even closely identified with cottage cheese. These catering people have all these great cooks who are showing programs. When they are translating it in English, they translate paneer as cottage cheese. Paneer is not cottage cheese. This is one thing which I would like to tell all of you people, and you people also tell you whomever you know that paneer is not cottage cheese. Because cottage cheese has a element of fermentation in it. Paneer does not have any fermentation in it. Paneer is not cottage cheese. Yeah, yeah. Ghee is not butter oil. That is, I don't think we need to talk much about it, because this is one indigenous product where it has better shelf life than the nearest product from Europe. Yes. As far as malai and cream also, yes. Flavored yogurt and flavored dahi. Here I would like to mention one product from ma'am's native state called Mishti Doi. Now, it is available now in lot of flavors, and nowadays they are adding fruits also into it. Yeah. Yeah. So I would invite all of you, whenever you go to West Bengal, do try to taste Mishti Doi. It's a out of the world experience. You may feel it is a bad concept as far as sugar and milk is concerned, but it's a great taste. Yes. Yeah. And as far as guidance for dairy source, I would like to say one thing here, that milk is a good source of animal protein, but presently it is the best known source for vitamin B12 for vegetarians. So either milk, and if you are lactose intolerant, at least dahi we should consume, because that is the only source of vitamin B12 for vegetarians. And butter versus ice cream versus frozen desserts. I think it is high time people start being more careful, because especially the shopkeepers also, they don't know. Let me tell you, most of the shopkeepers also don't know that there is a difference between ice cream and frozen desserts. I would like to commend Amul for this, that they did not leave it. When Unilever went again, first Amul had brought the advertisement of Asli ice cream. At that time, Unilever had first gone to the Advertising Standards Council of India and won a case. Then Amul appealed against it at the High Court. They lost it, but they went to Supreme Court and ensured that the real ice cream, the Asli ice cream ad is accepted. So, hats off to them. Yeah. And again, butter and veg alternate. Let me tell you that veg alternate even now cannot stand. There was in my childhood, there was a product called Gold Seal from Hindustan Unilever only. It flopped miserably. So,
But you don't know actually when it is being used.
yeah, maybe.
Because it is in vegetables and so many things together.
And the last one, sir. I don't know how many of you have seen stand-up comedy by Amit Tondon. Okay. So, there he is talking about this nutritional foods, and he was telling nowadays lot of type of milk alternatives have come, and he was talking of almond milk. So he said, I cannot accept almond milk, because for me almond is a dry fruit. It cannot. So actually I feel it is a joke.
It's actually very confusing because if you see almond milk translates to badam doodh. And badam doodh, those who are north and northeastern part, they know that badam doodh is a entirely different kind of product which is made solely out of milk and badam and khajur and all those kinds of things. So these are all confusing things, at least in our parlance. Maybe in US it is acceptable because the consumers, they are not concerned about milk, consumption of milk more there. But in our case, dairy is providing livelihoods to 80 million farmers. Dairy is providing nutrition to almost all of us. And so it is very important that the terminology remains unambiguous for an informed choice by the consumer. So that's the only appeal.
The last one about continuous review, sir, I would like to tell one thing that because we are also following the ISO norms for national standards bodies. So every 5 years standards are reviewed. And if there is a need for if it is a small change, then we do what is called a amendment to the standard. If a major changes are required, then we call it as revision of the standard. If no change is done, then it is reaffirmation. And the last but not the least, the standard can be withdrawn. There is a case of a standard being withdrawn. It's a product coming from Gujarat coast, maybe Rajkot, near to Rajkot only. This is called sea cucumbers in the common parlance. I'm not remembering the scientific name, and this was becoming extinct, and there was a lot of pressure to the government of India and all that we should ban. So when government banned, after 3 years they asked BIS why the standard is still existing. So we also withdrew the standard, and similarly DDT, this was withdrawn some 20 years back when DDT was banned in this country. So such things also happen. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू सर. अगली कड़ी में मैं टेक्निकल सेशंस के लिए बुलाना चाहूँगा स्क्वाड्रन लीडर संजय वशिष्ठ जी, चीफ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ऑफिसर अंबुजा सीमेंट लिमिटेड कोडीनार.
Respected Shri Gopinath, Shri Shukla ji, Shrimati Mehta, Shri Sengar, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you. While listening to the discussion which was happening for our interest through Shri Gopinath and through Dr. Jain, whether the world accepts us or not, whether outside India still accepts India to be there or not, there are still people in the Europe who still believe that the past belonged to India, the future is also going to belong to India. Was studying management in Switzerland, and there most of the professors, to a percentage of, can say that 40%, we counted, there were Indian students at that time, we counted the percentage, that 40% of the teachers acknowledged that during 1850s, when historically the first war of Indian independence was about to take place, India was 1/5 of the world economy, and people in Switzerland were rearing the cows. It was milk production there at that time also in Switzerland. So there is a section in Europe which also understands what India has been and what India is likely to be. As far as future of India is concerned, the Aatmanirbhar Bharat is concerned, the most tangible indicator India wise or worldwide is India's GDP. Acknowledged through various international fora of the world, the monetary institutions and the semi-monetary institutions as well. When India is growing at a pace which is right now is the fastest in the world, so the questions about India's future certainly are not there. Now people say that definitely India is the future. With this India's story which is becoming better and better, maybe it is change of the time, cyclical times, that India is coming back to the stage where India always belonged to. it's also an indicator of the future for our industry where we are associated with, that is cement. There is a kind of a thumb rule in our industry which suggests that 1.3 to 1.4 times of the GDP is the demand growth. And this has tested the periods, the time spaces historically also. Although we know that like cement always has been there as a pivotal part of the human civilization from ever since the human beings started settling down in settlements. The cement or the cement-like material, that is a clay-like material, the lime or the lime-like material. Even during the construction of the caves, when the human beings were not staying in the settlements, at that time also the caves had some properties which were quite cementitious. During those time also cement mattered. When the settlement started happening, the cement mattered. And today also, when India is to leapfrog into another phase of future to come, cement is going to play an important role. And not only in India, there are many people in the world. Even Mr. Kennedy in the 60s used to say that America position is very promising as far as cement is concerned. We are around 8 to 10% of the world production of cement. It's 450 to 480 million tons per annum, and with a capacity of 690 million tons. And the promising indicator for us, which suggests that cement industry is going to leapfrog many times over geometrically, is the indicator which we also measure through the per capita consumption of cement. The per capita consumption of cement in India is encouraging for us because it stands at a figure close to 290, whereas the world average is 550. World average is 550, and it's surprising to note that China is at 1600 still, when China's economy is increasingly showing a gradual decline in consumption of cement. It was 2000 million tons 2 years back. Last year back it was 1900 million tons. So there is a gradual shift somewhere happening in that country also. Cement in itself, ladies and gentlemen, is an indicator. It's a lead indicator, it is a lag indicator. Lead indicator suggests about the good times to come. When the economy is to turn around, economy is to become good, cement starts showing those signs. Cement starts early, through early trends, and when the economy is also going in the reversal side, when the economy is not doing that good, then also cement is believed to stay strong for around 6 months after the period of reversal also has set in. So in India right now, we are at a capacity of close to 690 million tons. We are expecting that we'll be touching around 850 million tons in 2 to 3 years time frame. And in that period, we are expecting 150 to 160 million tons to be added through capital expenditure products in India. While this is happening, the Indian cement industry is also evolving. We of course are navigated, we of course are regulated through standards. We have historical associations, a meritorious association with Bureau of Indian Standards for long. Even when our companies used to exist in different formats, like our management standards still are being audited by worthy members of serving or ex-BIS officers throughout India. throughout India. And be the standards in cement, the strength itself, be the standards in packing bags, be the standards even the standards which are measured by the consumer itself. So we have a presence there. Not only through those standards, the cement industry is also regulated through emission standards. We have safety standards. So we are an industry where regulation and standards play an important role to ensure the longevity of our future. Our future actually depends upon our ability to adhere to the standards. It not only protects our reputation, of course it does, like there have been many cement units in the country which have been affected negatively when one-off situation has happened in the market which was not welcome. So adherence to the standards actually is our license to operate, and it also ensures the product stability. It brings in cost optimization also, the market reach also, the consumer confidence also. So standards for cement industry are a must to have. And as far as Indian cement industry traveling now to make India stronger and bigger, like make India Aatmanirbhar in the days to come faster than before, we also see that the trends which have started happening in the last 15 to 20 years are different from the scenario which is emerging from the time space of last 2 to 3 years. 1995, 1998 onwards, the top multinationals in the world, the cement multinationals in the world, they thought that cement market in India is the market. World number one, Holcim came to India. World number one, Lafarge came to India. World number two, Holcim came to India, and Heidelberg came to India. Cemex tried to come to India. So the Italy Cementi tried to come to India. The top 5 cement multinationals of the world, they thought that the future earnings in cement sector worldwide will have its origin in India. So most of them, they established the presence. Holcim and Lafarge have earlier different associations. In 2015 they came together and occupied the cement space through Ambuja Cements and ACC. In 2022 Holcim and Lafarge exited India. So now most of the multinationals are either becoming marginal players or on the way out. Right now the top 2 to 3 cement manufacturers in India actually are Indian right now. So this is more Indianization of the cement industry once again, which is happening in India. So while cement sector is expected to grow, and our own internal estimates suggest that in 2 years time frame, maybe 2029, 2030 onwards, the golden period of the cement industry is going to be there. For the golden period of cement industry to be there, the standards which I talked about, we just gave a reference about, are the must for us to have to be able to continue to survive, because the commoditization of the cement industry has already ensured that the consumers in India still have those emotional choices associated with building of the houses. 65 to 70% of the consumers, the cement consumers in India, are still the individual house builders. So 60 to 65% are still the people for whom construction of the house is still an emotional must have, maybe to live the dreams of the parents or the grandparents, or to build a future for the children. So the future of the children or the security of the parents is seen through building a house. Still in India, 65 to 70% of the people in India. So 65 to 70% of the people, when are still making individual choices, for them this is an emotional decision to make. So our accountability in the cement industry is manifold. So we are not only building houses, we are not only building the nation, we are also meeting the aspirations of the average Indian household spread in various parts of the India. We experienced a surprise experience during the COVID time. During the COVID time, when the other industrial sectors in India were coming down and had causes of concern. The cement industry had one of the largest consumption of cement happening in India, because those poor masons, poor construction people, or poor laborers who had gone back home, or even the middle class individuals or middle class Indians who, because of the COVID, had gone to their respective native towns, the tier 3 cities, tier 4 cities, or the villages, they started adding 1 room, 2 room to the facilities which they always thought of constructing for their family back home. So cement is still an emotional choice in India, although it is just a bond. It binds many material, but it of course it binds those human emotions also. We remain conscious in the cement industry also, and through our group, through Adani Cement also, we promise to remain responsible partners, not only in India's growth story, but also in fulfilling those individual dreams which the Indians still are having for themselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Squad Leader Mashisht. It was a great exposition of the future of cement industry in India. And you have said one thing about the dip in cement consumption in China. Just it came into mind. I have also read somewhere that there is now there is a change in the building construction industry, this one, where there is lesser usage of cement in construction activities. A lot of additives are also coming in, basically polymer based additives which are supplementing cement. So the overall cement content in the concrete mixture is coming down. So could that have attributed to this reduction in cement?
Sir, we have two impressions about it. First impression, of course, is we believe that China's economy itself is struggling right now.
Yeah.
Number one. So since cement is a direct indicator which we derive through economic performance. So number one, so it leads us to reach a partial conclusion. I wouldn't say complete conclusion. A partial conclusion that cement consumption on its own, like to like basis, is slightly plateauing down. If I say that not going down or plateauing down. Number one. Number two is that, sir, in India also, what is happening in otherwise China or other parts of the world, less cement or less clinker to be used in cement production, that is happening in India also. In India also, we also are part of the group, but still those projects are still underway, some at the table, some at the conceptual stage, some at the pilot stage, where we are using other clay-like material, and Government of India also was kind enough to bring up some possibilities of future through the clay which is there on the sea coast.
Yeah.
On the sea coast, there were auctions which were to be announced, but still would say that at the initial stage. So in India also, like we also are very conscious of the fact how to start reducing your clinker factor to conserve not only limestone for future, because limestone in India is turning out to be luxury right now.
Yeah.
And limestone, and so the pockets are confined. The pockets are very confined where limestone is. So in India also, what is happening in China or otherwise worldwide also, in India also the same initiatives have been undertaken, sir. Thank you.
Another factor which may be in the future, which may reduce the cement content, is the growth of the ready-mix concrete industry. Because till now, most of the, I would say even now, in many places, the mixing happens on site. But with coming of ready-mix concrete industry, maybe that portion will, that thing may reduce. Maybe in the next 10-15 years you may not see mixing on site. And maybe you may not even see the ready-mix concrete also, especially in urban constructions like flyovers and bridges and all. You may get prefabricated structures itself being brought and fitted. In fact, there is one builder, he started in 90s itself in Pune called Shirke Builders. In 90s itself he has started using prefabricated blocks for his construction purposes. So these things may come. So it puts heavy onus on standardization also, because it's now moved out of from just the cement standardization. It has now total complex structure based standardization. So thank you very much, sir, for this, and it was a wonderful hearing you, sir.
थैंक यू सर. अब मैं DDGW सर से निवेदन करता हूँ कि हमारे साथ अभी कुछ स्पीकर्स जुड़े हैं. उसमें से सबसे पहले मैं बुलाना चाहूँगा अमित प्रशांत जी, डीन ऑफ एक्सटर्नल रिलेशन IIT गांधीनगर. उनको BIS की परिवार की तरफ से प्लांट देकर उनका स्वागत करें. ओके सर, ओके. And yes sir, please sir. Yes sir.
Good morning. So, Vibrant Gujarat is always an exciting event with, of course, the vision of the leadership of the country and the leadership that was there in the beginning from the state. At the same time, Jago Bharat, Jago Gujarat, that is also happening along with that. And thinking ahead of that time and joining hands, shaking hands with partners. That is the purpose. Now, are we moving with the right pace? Are we doing the right things? That is where I think deliberations and whatever we discuss here today, that comes to be. Now, I'm coming from an academic institution, and I'll talk from that perspective. We have economic growth rapidly growing today with new sectors coming in, manufacturing taking, you can say, new leap into many domains. At the same time, BIS, I think last 3 years has been very, very, you can say, active in terms of preparing themselves for what is coming in some sense. Whether it is product or whether it is practice or anything related to processes, standards are being made, but do we have the instruments to comply with them? That is the question, and that is where I want to focus today. Standards have been there, testing and regulations have been there, but have we complied, and where are we lacking? My gut feeling is generally people don't want to do bad things. They generally want to do good things. But as we say, ignorance, many times we can call it apathy also. When I'm angry, I say people are apathetic, simply, right? They do just ignore. Chalta hai. But actually it may not be. If you think through, everybody wants to do good. But is it possible that they don't know? And many times we talk about big things, but small little things are very, very important. And that's where we lack many times. And it's because of the practice on the ground in general, or the systems that are there with the hierarchical chain of implementation.
do we have right communications with top to bottom? What is to be done on the ground? मैं नहीं कह रहा कि सब कुछ अच्छा कर लेंगे फिर भी बदमाश नहीं मिलेंगे, सब मिलेंगे. There will be people who will do mischievous things, but at large people don't want to do bad things. They want to do good things for the society, for the country. They love our country, most of the people, above themselves. So that way, what can we do? That is the question, in a way. So far, academic institutions have been involved along with the practice in framing the codes, whether again for products, practice, or processes, right? Designs, you can say. But is that enough? Again, coming back to the same question, and where academic institutions can help further. Now, one of the biggest challenge in our country is that the people who have the authority, or you can say who are expected, carrying the responsibility, they are based on entry. Entry means तूने बीटेक कर लिया तेरा हो गया, तूने ये MBA कर लिया तेरा हो गया. Now you did MBA, BTech 20 years back when you became senior. In 10 years, most of the technology you forget. What do you remember? How to manage this guy versus that guy. That's what you remember in the end. Of course, if you're given a project, you will do research, you'll find out what is happening and how I can navigate. But again, little things will be missed out because you are still focusing on the broad picture. And the person working on the ground is still not the same person. Another gap that we have, so this is one gap, that with time, learning stops. Especially on, you can say, technical aspects or compliance aspects. Why does that happen? Because there is no expectation. जब आप टेंडर के लिए डॉक्यूमेंट जमा करते हैं तो क्या मांगते हैं? रेज्यूमे मांगते हैं. रेज्यूमे में क्या देखते हैं? कौन सा डिग्री किया? Who looks after what you did in last 2 years? Does it matter what you did 20 years back? What matters is what you did in last 2 years. Who looks at that? When you look at the team which is going to implement. Other than, okay, 20-year experience. Very good. Most of the people grow 20 years after BTech or bachelor's or whatever degree they have done initially. So they will have 20-year experience. And designations can be beneficial to companies many times, so they will put the best designation possible. And every company is trying to bid the best, of course. And according to them, they are the best. And they're not lying. They're doing the best they can, in a way. But as an agency which is looking at those tenders, what are we looking at? That is the question, in some sense. Are we looking at the quality of experience? How do you look at that? How do you measure it? So, if that is the situation, how can you have compliance on the ground? That is the problem. With product, it's slightly easier because you put ISI marks and so on, right? But with processes and practices, it becomes very difficult because you have larger teams involved and it's not one thing that is coming out as 1,000 million kind of pieces where you can put ISI mark. You have one project which is being handled by, let's say, 200 people to get it done related to processes. Now, how do you ensure that the quality is delivered in such projects? That becomes a question. So, should we not have a continuous assessment of practitioners? And that bill has been discussed for 25 years and it has still not passed. Engineers bill. Gujarat government had passed this bill about 5 years back. But is it in practice today? No. Why? Because of course engineers don't like it. At some point we will have to think about it. We need some regulation on that front, and I would request BIS also to think about it. At some point, this kind of delivery, what we have today, is it okay with us? Because the moment you move from developing country to developed country or some subdeveloped country, this will not be acceptable anymore. The kind of buildings 20 years back, you said, wow, what a building. What do you say today? Oh, kitna kharab building hai ye? What happened in 20 years? Your eyes have changed. Your expectations have changed. Nothing else. Building is same. Paint bhi kiya hai abhi. Nothing has changed in that. The only thing, next to that, there are 10 more buildings which are much better. So our eyes have changed, our expectations have changed, and this is going to continuously change, improve with time. Now, are we ready to deliver that? That is where the question is. So one, this is where academic institutions can help. We need to have continuous learning processes, and for that, academic institutions along with practice people can offer those kind of programs. Fortunately, whatever we may say, we still have good institutions both in industry as well as in government which can be trusted and very well trusted. So there is enough infrastructure available to offer that. But why would somebody comply? Why would somebody learn that? So firefighting mode of learning will not work. Firefighting mode of implementing projects will not work up to beyond certain limit. So sometimes people say 5 trillion economy, you will grow, no problem. But beyond that, if you want to go, then you need systems. You need to be prepared for that. It's like a startup to company. You have to scale up, then you create systems in between. Without systems, you cannot go from a startup to company. You will fail. Same thing with the country. If you want to go there, and we are not far away, we are already reaching there. So we have only 3-4 years bandwidth, 3-4 years time to go there in some sense. I think I did something. No? Not from here. These are okay. Okay. So the question is that do we have time? Do we wait for that? No. Do we wait for even engineer bill to be implemented one day? No. As any entity, we have and we can think how do we move in that. So one of the initiative that we started with BIS, we developed a very good code for a particular technology related to geosynthetics, launched it about 1 year back, right? And with BIS, we are now conducting workshops to make sure that people understand how does it work. Same way, there are many other codes where we conduct courses along with, in collaboration with BIS, right? Now, some people attend, of course, who are excited about technologies, new technologies, etc. But some people don't. If somebody attends, what is the advantage they get? They get better job. But do they gain respect in the industry for doing good job? Limited. Because not everybody is looking for quality. Most of the people just want to complete the project somehow, right? And sometimes that project ends up being good. Sometimes. But as I said, that was okay until now. But in future, that is not going to be. So can we, same courses, can we recognize them? Can we say that if you have done these kind of courses, then this team is okay. Otherwise, this team is not okay. As a person who is sanctioning the project, I will not approve it. Forget about engineer's bill. It is my national duty. It is my human duty to make sure whatever is made is safe. We want that. Everybody sitting in this room wants safer products. safer practices. Nobody wants anybody to die or have bad experience on the road or buildings. Anywhere I go, I always tell the next person sitting next to me, कितना खराब बनाया है. And next project मेरा ही चल रहा है वहाँ पे, उसमें दूसरा बंदा वही बोल रहा है. Right? ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? मेरा भी इंटेंशन अच्छा है, क्योंकि मैं क्रिप मार रहा हूँ, तो इंटेंशन तो अच्छा है. उसका भी इंटेंशन अच्छा है, बट हमारे प्रोजेक्ट many times are not fulfilling the demand. The problem is not apathy. Problem is not corruption. Problem is systems. We need compliance systems. And that's where next level of regulations have to be given and empowered through the democratic way. It's not government always who will implement things and expect the compliance to be done. Why can't we make sure as individuals with our capacity that compliance will happen? नहीं चलता है, सब नहीं चलता है. That is where I think we need to focus. Once we start doing that, there will be many more such courses, such workshops will come, and we will have better readiness for technologies in the future. I don't think resources is the issue. Institutions from industry, from government sector, from academic world, they're there. They are well competent also. But we need to create systems so that this kind of training programs or courses that can happen. Now, how does this developed world work in this? So, for example, in US or Europe, if you go to, if you don't do some 10 or 20 credits per year, you are not allowed to practice. Are we aware of that? That is what Engineers Bill was supposed to do, actually, right? If you don't do certain things, you are not allowed to continue. As simple as that. Now, that will happen through the government, or we have democracy. Not everybody will agree to everything, and that is okay. But as individuals also, we can do that, right? There's nobody stopping you to check quality of people, besides the quality of products that are going to be ensured later. Now, how do we work on that? Once you start expecting supply-demand concept, once you demand, the supply will happen automatically, right? And one saying is that quality is not delivered, it's demanded. Once you demand quality, it will be delivered. There's no question. And right now, until now, we were talking about this as citizens, but now let's talk about our accountability in demanding that quality. And it is possible. It's not very technology that doesn't exist in India. It's very small thing, little things in life that matter. So I'll give you a couple of examples, then I'll probably shut up. So, for example, I went to a site of some highway, right? The contractor was very well competent. The department was on site, which is not very common, right? So very difficult because everybody is understaffed. It's not their fault. Everybody is understaffed. Projects are so many. How can you be at 5 sites at on same day? You can't, right? But they were there, right? Manufacturers for the product that was being used, right? Since I was going, they also came. Everybody was there, right? Then we walked around the site and we identified at least 20 issues, 20 faults. And none of those were that they didn't know. None of those. Purposefully, I'm not disclosing the very specific information. But in every case, whether it was design issue, like continuity of rigid to flexible part of the structure, right? Whether it was practice issue, how do you install the material on the ground? What kind of combination of materials to be used? Or whether it is safety issues. of construction or whatever they were doing on the site. I'm from civil engineering, so that's why I'm giving example of civil engineering, right? All these cases, their intention was clear that they won't want to do right thing, and that's why everybody was there. That's why I emphasize that everybody was there on the site, right? The material was good, no problem. So everybody was expecting quality in some sense. Then why did these mistakes happen? Question, no? And that I started teaching in my class as apathy. But now I think about, no, it's not apathy. It's something else. Again, start वहीं से होता है, सब चलता है. जल्दी प्रोजेक्ट भी तो कंप्लीट करना है. सीएम साहब आने वाले इनॉग्रेट करने के लिए 3 दिन में खत्म करना है, राइट? Is it CM's fault that he is going to inaugurate? No, it's not. तो जब साइट पे थे, पता था क्या करना है, कितना चलता है, वो गेज नहीं कर पा रहा. ये चलेगा या इसका आफ्टर इफेक्ट्स होंगे? भाई क्लास में जो पढ़ाया गया आपको कैसे बनाना है, ये पढ़ाया गया. बिगड़ गया तो उसको कैसे सुधारना है, पढ़ाया गया क्या कभी? या क्या चीज़ से बिगड़ेगा, ये पढ़ाया गया कभी? किसी चीज़ का स्पाइरल इफेक्ट कितना होता है, कितना गेज करें, ये पढ़ाया गया क्या कभी? Now these learnings happen by combination of academic and practice. It cannot happen in academic, even if you want to, right? Where is this learning happening? Your senior tells you, that's all. But every project, senior is different. There is no bonding as such many times. How will this work? That's where the compliance systems are required. So one of the biggest movement that should happen, at least in practice-oriented related aspects, is we need to emphasize need of systems. We need to emphasize demand of quality from the owner's side, and we need to ensure that continuous learning for implementers is happening on the site, on the factories. And that will make sure that we transition well from underdeveloped countries to developing countries to developed countries. And that is one message that I wanted to give today, and I hope I was able to convey that. Thank you.
Dr. Prasad's whole presentation was basically on the need for stronger regulations, that is from the government side, and for the need for better systems in practice at the implementation side. But one more thing, sir, which I feel is the need for planning also for a project, which somehow we are missing out. Project, when we are planning it, a proper process design, I think that is missing out somewhere. Wherever the design, process design has happened, I feel that project has really done very well. It has been completed in time, and it has been done in a very durable manner. A very good example, even there also I would not say that it is 10% perfect, but Konkan Railway is one example which I always give, because even though they had 2 years of stoppage due to one issue with then railway minister, but still they were able to complete the project within 1996, which they started out somewhere in 1989. And accepting the prospect of some landslides which happened in those hilly tracts because of loose rocks in up to Goa, the construction has been outstanding, and the track and the system is designed to go up to a peak speed of 250 kilometers per hour, which is, I think, phenomenal considering the the route where a lot of loose rocks are there. I think that is one thing which we have to really appreciate. And the same Konkan Railway Corporation implemented the Chenab Bridge in Jammu. That's really something. It was like when we saw the final Chenab Bridge, the way it came out, it was like a marvel, out of the world. So here the biggest factor was the process design. In first case it was Mr. Sridharan who did it. Second case, I don't know the leader because he didn't become popular. But yes, and the adoption of systems. There is no doubt that systems have to be in place, and systems should continuously evolve. If there is any issue because of the existing system, there has to be a revision or amendment to that system. So, thank you very much, sir. Any questions, please reserve for the last. Okay.
मैं नेक्स्ट सेशन के लिए बुलाना चाहूँगा मिस अनिदिता मेहता मैम, चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफिसर, कंज्यूमर एजुकेशन एंड रिसर्च सेंटर.
Very good afternoon to you all. Respected dignitaries on the dais, my colleagues and associates, very long-term associates in fact, from BIS, Shri Gopinath ji is here from the western region, Sumit Sangar ji, and the Rajkot branch. Invited guests here, industry bodies, my fellow speakers before me, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a pleasure to be here today on this important occasion of the regional conferences of Vibrant Gujarat, and kudos to BIS for arranging such an important session. And I would say that standards serve as a foundational pillars for the Make in India and Aatmanirbhar Bharat initiatives, by ensuring that Indian products are not just made for India but made for the world. So today I represent the consumers. Who are consumers? You, me, and all the 140 crore, 140 crore Bharatiya. I think it's 145 crores today. And I also represent BIS, being on the governing council and been associated with them for more than 2 decades now. So I would just give 5 points why BIS is the foundation, is the pillar. Standards serve as the pillar for Aatmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India campaign and the Swadeshi campaigns. First and foremost, of course, is the product quality, safety, sustainability, efficiency. Everything, I think, depends on the standards, standardized products. So product quality, number one. Second is these standards which is there for the products will boost the consumer confidence, trust in a given product which is manufactured in India and of course abroad. Enhancing global competitiveness. If standards were not there, if the Indian manufacturers did not follow the quality standards, the safety standards, it will never stand at the global stage in front of such a huge competition, global competition. Fourthly, fostering self-reliance by setting benchmarks for domestic manufacturing, as seen through initiatives like the quality control orders, the mandatory, products that have come under mandatory certifications that have really put India on a global stage where not just the improving Indian quality of products and services, but also by decreasing the influx of substandard products. We were seeing a huge influx of Chinese toys. I would just give an example. There was a point of time where huge influx of substandard Chinese toys. We at CRC had tested those toys for a presence of phthalates and the presence of lead in those, especially for the teethers which the children put in their mouth. And we had found alarming levels of those toxic products, toxic elements. And from there on, it has been a journey towards quality toys in India. Once the mandatory certification was put in place, we've seen the boost in the domestic markets as well, where impetus was given to the domestic manufacturers. And the entire import of substandard toys have reduced drastically, and which has helped health of the children, which so that was one very strong example. And aligning with the global value chains for enhanced market access. So these are the 5 strongest reasons why BIS is a catalyst, as a utprerak, as sahayak for Aatmanirbhar Bharat. So I'll just touch upon these 5 points a little in detail. I've talked about the QCs and the consumer confidence. International alignments. Adoption of international standards helps Indian products meet global benchmarks. It has reduced our import dependency, especially for counterfeit products, for substandard products. Economic growth and innovation. India has become a manufacturing hub of quality products, and which is going to transform India into a competitive global manufacturing hub soon. MSME empowerment is another area where BIS aims to train more than 1 lakh MSMEs by 2026, that is by this year. So I think the role of BIS has been in quality and safety assurance, global competitiveness, cost efficiency, ecosystem development. A robust standards quality ecosystem has developed in India. Sustainability. At present, BIS is incorporating sustainability in all its 23,000 standards that BIS has, and it is going ahead with that. Now, I would just like to touch upon how consumer organizations like ours, like CERC and BIS together is enhancing the entire ecosystem, and where it will help India leapfrog into the next era of a very vibrant, modern, contemporary India. So first and foremost, where BIS and consumer organization collaboratively work is to create awareness for consumers. Consumer awareness is very important. Mr. Jain from NDDB was talking about how the consumers are not aware about dairy analogs. Nobody knows. There were very few hands up when he asked how many people actually know about the difference between ice cream and frozen desserts. It's not just almond milk, but there is rice milk, soy milk, hemp milk. There's an entire range of such products which were earlier called milk, but it was our, campaigns. And as we sit on the regulatory bodies such as FSSAI, state and central level committees, where we have advocated for delinking the word milk from such dairy analogs. And it's not just ice cream and frozen desserts, but it is in paneer. And today the latest 2020 regulation of FSSAI mandates that if a FBO or a food business operator is serving analog paneer, it has to be adequately labeled in such a way so that the consumers can make informed choices. But we still see a lot of it's not being adhered to, like in restaurants or in the roadside eateries where vendors, or in marriages or weddings, where the consumers are not really aware of what they are eating, whether it's an analog paneer or whether it's the butter that is being used, whether it's real butter or not. So consumer awareness, jago grahak jago, is something very important, and BIS in the past years have been working relentlessly to increase consumer awareness, be it in the area of hallmarking or all the important areas, and very many consumer centric activities have been done. All the Quality Connect programs that are being carried out by BIS in association with all the Gunvatta Yatras that they have been doing, all the awareness programs, workshops, all the Consumer Connect initiatives, Manak Samvad, Manak Manthan. These are the various BIS initiatives in association with consumer organizations. Second is the product testing. We at CERC have our own product testing laboratories. So we test consumer products in, for example, hand blenders. When we had tested hand blenders, we had found a lot of issues in terms of the safety aspects for consumers. There were, so these, plus in food products, there were many such issues where for packaged drinking water, there were microbiological contamination. For even milk, when we had tested at the consumer end, we had found a lot of microbiological issue, which was due to the cold chain not being maintained, while the milk that was produced in the factory was very good, at the manufacturing unit was very good, but by the time it reached the consumer doorstep, because of the cold chain not being maintained, we had issues of. So these kind of aspects, safety aspects or health aspects, are conveyed to BIS by organizations like ours, and we sit on the technical committees, on the division councils of BIS. We convey our reports, and lot of amendments. I'm happy to say that 20 plus amendments to BIS standards have been done by our so BIS also integrates the consumer voice. Actually the demand, as long as there's no demand from the consumers, the manufacturers will not take notice. So that too, and integration of consumer voice in standardization is very, very important, because ultimately the standards, the products are for the benefit of consumers. So integrating consumer voice in standardization process, BIS is doing it wonderfully. Today when I stand on the international platform, they try to learn from us how BIS is incorporating the consumer voice in their standards, how a certain percentage of course all the stakeholders are represented in the technical committees, in the working groups, in the division councils, every BIS, but the consumer voice is being represented, being reflected in the BIS standards. That's something very, very important for both the consumers and the standards, and for the industries as well. So that is one thing. Another is grievance redressal and enforcement support. We consumer organizations are a link with the grassroots consumers to the regulatory authorities and governments and BIS. कंज्यूमर की जो आवाज़ है, जो ग्रास रूट्स कंज्यूमर्स की आवाज़ है, जो इश्यूज वो लोग फेस कर रहे हैं व्हेन दे गो टू बाय अ प्रोडक्ट इन द मार्केट, व्हेन दे एनकाउंटर अ काउंटरफीट प्रोडक्ट और अ सब स्टैंडर्ड प्रोडक्ट, तो वो कंप्लेन लेके हमारे पास आते हैं. नाउ BIS has also come up with the BIS Care app, where the consumer, at the marketplace can check whether the product that they are buying, whether it's the original product, whether it's the authentic product or a substandard product. So the consumer grievance redressal is something that we collaboratively work together with BIS to understand their issues at the grassroots, at the marketplace. Market surveillance, market accountability is something, along with the National Consumer Helpline, the BIS Care app. It's a collaborative effort to bring the consumers' grievances for redressal. Also, I've talked about, of course, participation in standards formulation. So by working together, consumer organization and BIS build consumer confidence in Indian products. So fostering a domestic market that values and demands high quality products and goods and standardized goods. And this in turn drives manufacturers to achieve quality excellence. And of course, and that is the core objective of Aatmanirbhar Bharat, or self-sufficient India. Also, by building brand trust, empowering the informed consumer, and policy influence, strengthening redressal, and targeting youth engagement. We work very closely with the youth, the children. We have various consumer clubs in schools. Similarly, BIS has standards clubs in schools. In fact, the children and the youth are the is tomorrow's consumers, and we catch them young and teach them about quality and safety, and make them demand quality goods. So I think with these few words, I will end my talk today. And products made in India should be made for the world, and they're not just local but should be synonymous with global quality excellence, and we are doing an excellent job. And of course, the BIS is in true sense the catalyst, the sahayak for India to be truly on the global stage. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I have known ma'am from I think 2015, when I was part of the Food and Agriculture Department of BIS. I would like to say that yes, definitely we have a long association. Here, two things I would like to tell. Some of the recent initiatives. Ma'am talked about the BIS Care app. How many people know about it? Can you raise your hands? And how many of you have downloaded it? So rest of the people, I would request you kindly download it. It is available in Google Play Store or App Store also. It is called BIS Care app. With that, you can know the genuinity of the BIS mark, the ISI mark. You can know the genuinity of hallmarked jewelry you are purchasing. You can know about the standard for the product or the process which you want to see. And last but not the least, you can make complaints online in that. And any complaint made on that, I assure you that all your details will remain confidential. It is not, nobody can go into it and find out who has made the complaint. And one more thing which I would like to say about our MSME units. How many of you are from MSME units? Yeah, if you are taking a BIS regular certification, for the minimum marking fee you are supposed to be paying to us, till the end of 2026, we are giving a discount of 80%. Okay. And not only that, there is a good chance that it may get extended also. What the government of India is contemplating. For smaller scale, this is for micro scale units. For small scale units, it is 50%, and for medium scale units, it is 20%. The what you call discount. Apart from that, we are also organizing regular capsule courses for quality assurance personnel of small scale industries who are associated with us. This is another initiative which we have taken of late. Then we have signed MOUs with various academic institutions, including IIT Gandhinagar, and he is one of the key persons in IIT Gandhinagar. Dr. Amit Prasad is one of the key persons in that. And this many academic institutions have initiated chairs for standardization. And one thing which I would like to tell ma'am also, that our first Director General, when we were Indian Standards Institution, incidentally our foundation day was on 6th January. We started off in 6th January 1947 as Indian Standards Institution. So the foundation for standardization was started on 6th January. Our first Director General, Dr. Lalsi Varman, he in 1950s he had come to then Bombay, and he had a press conference, and one of the points which he raised was the non-availability of organizations representing general consumers in the committee, in the various technical committees. So that was a prelude to what happened. So now it is our we have made it into a policy. Of course, it is not getting fully implemented because that many serious consumer and voluntary organizations are not coming about. That we should have in all technical committees, we should have minimum around 30% consumer bodies. But it's not happening because unfortunately technocrats who are retiring don't enter consumer bodies. So all of you, if you know, once you take a retirement, you can consider entering some consumer bodies and again coming to be coming as a representative of these bodies in our technical committees. Even I am also contemplating that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next speaker.
थैंक यू सर. नेक्स्ट सेशन के लिए मैं बुलाना चाहूँगा श्री जिग्नेश चौकसी जी, एसोसिएट वाइस.
Of cooking oil is another initiative of Lupo is and there are a lot of loopholes in that also, because if you add a little bit of the fresh oil, then the TPA value again comes back to normal. So yeah, so it's very difficult for testing laboratories also to find out whether the TPA value should not exceed 25. But what these roadside vendors do is immediately, when it is overused, then they add some quantity of the fresh oil, and then it comes back to normal. So there are a lot of issues of consumer awareness, which of course BI is doing is a wonderful job. In fact, earlier there were hardly any initiatives for consumers, but now with the standard clubs in schools and with a lot of these quality connect programs, workshops, and mass level Gunvatta Yatra आपका, हाँ, so a lot of now people are much more aware, especially BIS hallmarking has taken off in a wonderful way, and each and everybody knows about the hallmarkings. Yes, yes.
जिस टीवी पे देखते तो उस पे अभी भी आ रहा है। अभी तो इशू है कि अभी आप वो चैनल नहीं देख रहे हैं। That is it.
नेक्स्ट सेशन के लिए मैं बुलाना चाहूँगा श्री जिग्नेश चौकसी जी, एसोसिएट वाइस प्रेसिडेंट वेल्सपन अंजार।
Can I start? So our pipe mill is located at Anjar, Kutch. So this is the location view with respect to, but I want to convey that it is not only Anjar. We have a, global expansion facility available. We will discuss subsequently. So we are a group of the Welspun world, which is called as a Welspun world because, we are catering with the textile also, and yesterday even our chairman has delivered a lecture, opening lecture, that Wimbledon towel which is used by the players is used and made in India and made in Gujarat from Welspun. So that is one part of Welspun world, and of course we are with Welspun Enterprises, Welspun Logistics, but today we are talking about green energy requirement with respect to that. So our group has started journey in 1985. Then with respect to pipe industry, welded pipe industry, we have a unit in Dahej, nearby Bharat. And of course in Anjar we have started our facility in 2004. So I have already conveyed that we have a facility in India at 3 locations with respect to Anjar. Another facility is Bhopal. Third one is in Mandya, Karnataka. And of course, we have already established one facility in USA and Saudi Arabia also. But of course, I want to tell you that at every location, including Anjar, we are doing the expansion. And even yesterday, our chairman has announced that in forthcoming years, we are going to, invest more than 5,000 crores with respect to pipe industries. So, we are going to establish new facility for also pipe mill. There are various pipes with respect to that. So also pipe mill we are going to establish in the Dammam, Saudi Arabia, and it is going to be operational within the month of July or August 2026. We are going to establish one facility in USA, which is a also facility, and HFW. At present, spiral as well as HFW, which is called as a high frequency welded pipe, electric resistance welded pipe, like that. And in India, in Anjar, also at present we have both the facility available, hot induction bending and bend coating. But we are going to do with advanced technology. What Dean sir has told already, that what we have to go further. So with the advanced technology, we are doing for a change in the technology with respect to our hot induction bending and bend coating facility. Of course, we are going to come with a new plant which is called as a spiral plus LSO, both combination, and ready to cater not only in India but with respect to across the world. Even I want to convey that not only with respect to this production lines, ranges and certifications, but we must proudly say that we have supplied the pipes which are used for the deepest pipeline in the world, highest altitude in the world, and longest pipeline in the world, which we have supplied from our Dahej unit as well as Anjar unit. So I am talking about this global capacity, one-stop solution we called as a 2 million nearby. I already conveyed we have also pipe plant in India, spiral pipes in India. Spiral pipes, 3 locations, Anjar, then again Mandya and Bhopal. HFW, which is going to be used for our city gas distribution, if you will refer the news. Then spiral, we have a USA facilities, then HFW USA facility and spiral facility at present in Saudi Arabia already available. So not only pipes, but we have to do the bends also. If you will see the infrastructure, it will not be that straight pipe is going to be used. So we have to supply with the bends also. Coating, which is called as a anti-corrosion coating. There are, which we call as a 3-layer polyethylene coating, 3-layer polypropylene coating, fusion bonded epoxy coating, and dual fusion bonded epoxy coating. And for inside, it is called as a solvent-based, solvent-free epoxy coating. And to cater again the offshore services, we have a facility to produce the pipes by using the technology which is called as a concrete wet coating, which we have seen across the road. It is not there, but the pipe is weighing nearby 40 metric tons. So you can imagine the technology which is going to be used for CWC pipe. And of course, to cater all these requirements, we need certifications. So from BIS, IS 3589, IS 5504, we are regularly using this license while supplying the pipes in India. And of course, to cater the requirement across the globe, our mandatory requirement is a API 5L, which is called as a American Petroleum Institute. If I want to supply the pipes for oil and gas sector, API 5L marking is requirement. And again, there are various categories, API 2B, API 5CT. Again, I already conveyed that we have supplied the pipes across the globe. So if I want to supply the pipes, then AD 2000 marking is required. With respect to quality management system, we have a API spec Q1, 9001, 14001, 45001, and for social accountability, social SA8000. And again, with respect to laboratory, we have a 17025 testing facilities. So at Anjar, yes, one-stop solution, we have all the facilities available at our Anjar unit. Now coming to the topic which is used today for new energy hydrogen transmission. So we at Welspun carried out various R&D facility and established ourselves to supply the pipe which are going to carry out hydrogen gas. So we have carried out pre-qualification program for there are various pipes. One is a spiral pipes, Another is a longitudinal submerged arc welded pipes. Another one is a HFW, which I already told. So we are carrying out with specific at present specific grade as well as specific size, and proudly said that all the requirements for the hydrogen pipeline for this particularly 26-inch OD into 19.7, it meets the requirement of ASME B31.12 2019 and carry out the testing as per ASTM E1681 on 3 different hits, because we have to carry out, I will subsequently tell what is the quality requirement to qualify for the hydrogen pipelines. Again, it was done with the constant load. We are using with the rising load, which is a requirement of the hour. So we have qualified 42-inch OD into 28 wall thickness and API 5L X52 grade. And what sir told about dairy products, different versions are there. The same way we have a different versions with respect to API grades also. So we have to be very specific when we (31.8) India chapter. So before proceeding, I want to take a pause that not only for hydrogen pipeline but water segment, sir, IS 3589, what are the changes we have done with respect to BIS? Amendment number 7 comes into the picture, and Welspun has played a very dominant role to come with this amendment number 7, because changes are required to meet the requirements of the present quality standards. So we are representing as a technical committee member in BIS for MTD 19 and MTD 4 also. And with respect to this hydrogen pipeline, whatever the requirement will be there in BIS, sir, we request that any help is required to establish the standard with respect to hydrogen pipeline. Welspun is ready to support this Make in India and Aatmanirbhar Bharat mission. So again, with respect to this is a new concept of hydrogen pipeline with this green energy. Of course, some quality control strictness is required. And again, while making a steel, it is not a usual steel which is going to be used for the normal gas and oil pipeline. So controls on alloy chemistry is there. Inclusion shape control additives are there. Fine grain microstructure is there. And we are using use of ill steels, low or reduced carbon equivalents and micro alloying. These are a pure metallurgical terms which we are using day in day out when we are going to qualify for such critical requirements for the hydrogen pipeline. So we have discussed about the steel. Now what is requirement to be taken care of during pipe manufacturing? Process design, of course, selection of right set of tooling, which is very, very important. And third one is a minimum residual stresses. I want to take again a pause that, when we are going to manufacture the pipes with using the present technology, the residual stresses will be generated. So again, if it will be on the higher side, then there will be a problem. We have heard about hydrogen embrittlement problem, hydrogen cracking, all this comes into the picture. So this minimum residual stresses, I will explain in the subsequent slide, that at present across the world, even I will tell you the specification name for Saudi Aramco, which is the number 1 refinery across the world. They are using a very conventional method for measuring residual stress, because ultimately we have to supply the pipes to them also. So we are using the same technology. But for this residual stress, again for hydrogen pipeline, whatever the international standards, strict standards are required to be followed, we have followed to qualify that one also. Selection of welding consumables and welding parameters, because in welding parameters, if anybody is from fabrication, they are aware about the role of the heat input. If it is on the higher side, then the impact properties toughness is going to be on the lower side. And welding consumables, this hydrogen is very susceptible to sulfur, so this H2S will be creating a lot of problem. So all these things are required to be taken care of while we are going to for the hydrogen pipeline. So again, this is the requirement which we have considered for this pre-qualification program SAWL pipe 26-inch OD into 19.7 and special bolt loaded CT specimen use for 100% hydrogen environment for 1000 hours at 200 bar pressure. So all the requirements as per the requirement of ASME BPPC section 8, it is qualified while we are carrying out the testing, and it is again carried out at Rina, Italy, which is a well-known facility nowadays for carrying out hydrogen testing. I already conveyed the importance of a residual stress measurement. So again, we have carried out with not with a conventional method, which I have conveyed earlier also. So it is carried out with a central hole drilling technique which is used, and again testing is carried out at a DNV Singapore. So how it is going to be carried out, this graphical represent gives us some of the picture. With respect to again with SAWL pipe, we have carried out at 66 bars at a room temperature for this particular 42-inch OD into 28 mm wall thickness testing. Even DNV Singapore doesn't have the facility, so we have supplied our trial pipe to DNV Columbus. So this is the some of the critical requirement with respect to fracture behavior, fatigue crack, growth rate, slow strain rate, and microstructure of pipe material. Again, I want to convey that the steel which is going to be used for the this hydrogen technology should be very clean. There are so many inclusions are there. If somebody is from metallurgical background, mechanical background, they are aware about the steel requirements. So these are the points which is required to be taken care of. Again, with respect to this 14-inch OD 9.53, I want to convey that steel which is used for the manufacturing of this HFW pipe is from Tata Steel Kalinganagar. So if you will see my earlier slide, the plates we have procured from the POSCO Korea, but with a joint collaboration with Tata Steel Kalinganagar, we are able to certify this pipe 14-inch OD into 9.53 mm wall thickness HFW pipe to supply the hydrogen gas if required in the future. Sir, recently we have started this hydrogen lab, and this is the lab which is available with Wellspun only, and we have started the testing also for requirement of the specification. So you can understand how we are ready for future demand with respect to hydrogen pipeline. And again, I want to convey that we are ready to give quality input for requirement to develop the standard with respect to hydrogen. Again, with respect to upcoming advanced testing facility, we are ready to meet the future requirements of the stringent pipeline CTOD, which is used for the creek, which is known as a crack tip opening displacement, which is used for our offshore pipeline compression test and elevated tensile test. Why I am using these words? Because if we have to supply the pipes across the world, then there are different conditions, atmospheric conditions, and accordingly we have to qualify our testing. And again, with respect to specialized coating testing, internal and external pipeline coatings. So why it is required? it is required to cost and time savings by avoiding outsourcing, enhance self-reliance in critical testing, because I have already conveyed that we have carried out the testing in Rina, Italy, DNV Singapore and DNV Columbus. So you can understand how many revenue we have to give them, because it's a monopoly business. They are going a very charge us very handsome. So as a future ready for Aatmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India, we are ready to deliver the product not only in India but across the world. And again I want to convey that whatever the help is required from Welspun, we are ready to provide with respect to Indian standard. And madam, we are a part of this committee also. Our Welspun Vidya Mandir children have participated in the quiz also. So in a coordination with Manish Kumar sir and Prahlad Patel sir, we are really giving the opportunity to the children also. Even they are participating in the quiz standard also, for which is organized from the BIS. And of course DG sir has also visited our company and they have seen the infrastructure. My request to Dean sir is there, if any future requirement is there, sir, the delegates from Exxon USA, the delegates from PTT Thailand, they have come, the delegates from IOCL is come, and we are not giving the this paperwork training. Of course I don't have at present immediately available, otherwise I will show you what is our Technical Center of Excellence, TCOE. Sir, I think if you have visited our Welspun at that time, we have seen we are giving the practical exams, practical, how to carry out with artificial intelligence, how to carry out manual ultrasonic testing, how to carry out radiographic testing. So it is not there that, training with respect to paper only. We are ready to give the training with respect to, the advancement with the advanced technology also. So in the past, BIS has also approached, and even Prahlad sir also conveyed me that in future they are going to come with some of the students. So most welcome. We will definitely come forward, and we will ready to meet Aatmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India in a very justified, proper and quality way. Thank you, sir. Yeah, sir. Questions and any. Yeah.
Very much prepared for it. We have to very much prepared for it. Is there any other company also?
Sir, as per one of the competitor, yes, we have heard about Ratnamani. But sir, I want to again go for this particular slide, specialized mechanical testing. So not only hydrogen, I want to convey that we are number one in the world with respect to technology. We are executing mostly export orders. Recently we are executing from Qatar Energy, which gives a very high premium, because they are not allow us. Since last 15 years our marketing team has approached. After that they allow us, and I'm proudly said that we are repeating third order from Qatar Energy at present, and Saudi Aramco also. So with this specialized mechanical testing, sir, CTOD, compression and elevated tensile, sir, this is requirement for the future in the line pipe industry, and internal and external pipeline coatings. So the recent method which is going to be used in the industry is now going to be, what you rightly said is amendment and corrected, and new revision will be there. And sir, I have conveyed that we are a part of JIP with DNV. So you can understand the contribution from Welspun, and whatever the requirements are there with respect to stringent pipeline specification, we are qualified from all the international client requirements. So yesterday our chairman also told in the opening remarks that Welspun Anjar is, paying nearby 10 lakh people employment. So you can understand the huge potential with respect to future requirements also. Any question, please? Okay.
थैंक यू जिग्नेश सर. और नेक्स्ट टेक्निकल सेशन की हम और बढ़ते हैं जो कि आखिरी है. उसमें मैं इनवाइट करना चाहूँगा श्री मुकेश महाजन जी, श्री सीनियर डायरेक्टर फेरोमेटिक मिलाक्रॉन इंडिया लिमिटेड.
No presentation. Yeah, good afternoon. So, welcome all the dignitaries and the audience available here, all officers available here. I will not take much time since we are at the end of the session. Especially, we know all the people knows that what is the theme of the today's. I mean, standard as a catalyst. So the people who are already connected with the chemistry subject, they know what is the importance of the catalyst, which we are also using in day-to-day life. Even in the kitchen also, we use vinegar, we use yeast, then saliva as our own catalyst to to process the foods in the right way, as well as dahi also somebody said, which is a dairy product. But डॉक्टर जैन एक्चुअली थोड़ा उन्होंने हमको डरा दिया है कि डेयरी प्रोडक्ट सिलेक्ट करने के क्या क्या ध्यान रखना चाहिए, विच नोबडी नोज, वेरी फ्यू पीपल नोज अबाउट दैट. बट टू मी दिस इंफॉर्मेशन शुड गो टू द जनरल पब्लिक till to the grassroots level people, which is not as on date. And I feel it is a prime responsibility of the manufacturer also, not only of the government, which I am actually find it is a missing. बट एक बात नक्की है, आज के बाद अगर मैं भाजी पाव खाऊंगा तो मेरा ध्यान बटर के ऊपर रहेगा. द वे ही एक्सप्लेन द थिंग्स. एनीवे, कमिंग टू द टुडेज सब्जेक्ट ऑफ स्टैंडर्ड एज ए कैटालिस्ट. मेक इन इंडिया जो हमारा थीम है वो इट इज़ नॉट ओनली लिमिटेड टू प्रोडक्शन ऑफ द मशीन्स. आत्मनिर्भर बनने के लिए स्टैंडर्ड्स का जितना महत्व है वो महत्व सबको ध्यान में रखना चाहिए. और लुकिंग दैट इनटू कंसिडरेशन हमारा प्रोडक्ट इस तरह से डिज़ाइन होना चाहिए. वी शुड टेक केयर फॉर द वर्कर प्रोटेक्शन फ्रॉम द एनी इंजुरीज. ऑल द लीगल compliances that should take care of our product. Damage which should not happen to our major part of the machine. Main important thing is the downtime should be less as much as possible so that productivity will be increased to the higher level. And of course the morale of the people who are operating this machine. And the main thing is that is the business reputation and the trust among the buyer and the seller. ये सब चीज़ ध्यान में रखते हुए मशीन डिज़ाइन होना चाहिए. उसमें स्टैंडर्ड बहुत हमको हेल्प कर रहे हैं. दैट इज़ वाई इट इज़ वर्किंग एज ए कैटलिस्ट फॉर मेक इन इंडिया एंड आत्मनिर्भर भारत. जैसे हम लोग सब जानते हैं, वी मेनी कंट्रीज हैव देयर ओन स्टैंडर्ड्स. लाइक यूरोप के अंदर सी स्टैंडर्ड हम सबको मालूम है, यूएस के अंदर ANSI स्टैंडर्ड है. देन ब्राज़ील बात करें तो NR12 है. कनाडा के अंदर अपना खुद का स्टैंडर्ड है. यूरोपियन कंट्रीज़ का ईस्टर्न इंडिया कंट्रीज़ के अंदर अपना खुद का स्टैंडर्ड है. लाइक वाइज वी हैव ऑल्सो BIS, वी एवरीबडी नोज अबाउट दैट. बट BIS जो चीज़ में अभी स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑलरेडी बन चुका है उसमें तो सबको करना ही चाहिए, मगर जो सब कैटेगरी के लिए स्टैंडर्ड भी BIS में नहीं है. एग्जांपल, आई एम कमिंग फ्रॉम द फील्ड ऑफ इंजेक्शन मोल्डिंग मशीन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी नेम एज ए मिलाक्रॉन इंडिया प्राइवेट लिमिटेड, सिचुएटेड एट द अहमदाबाद. सो वो कंपनी के अंदर इंजेक्शन मोल्डिंग मशीन लास्ट ईयर से इट वॉज सेट टू बी मैंडेटरी फॉर ऑल द मैन्युफैक्चरर्स. We are all in process, all the manufacturers are in process to get the BIS license. Not only manufacturers, but the supportive staff, supportive suppliers also. So I am really proud to say that Milacron India became a first Indian company to get this BIS license for making the injection molding machines. So we got this license for the 2 models, and slowly we are going to get for the all other models as well. अभी स्टैंडर्ड के मुताबिक काम करना इट इज़ नॉट दैट इजी. उसके अंदर बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ती है. और इंजीनियरिंग टीम, प्रोडक्शन टीम, एवरीबडी, टेस्टिंग टीम, एवरीबडी वर्क्स इन डिटेल, क्योंकि सब BOM सब चेंज करना पड़ता है उसके अंदर. BOM के चेंज करना मतलब वी हैव टू ऐड समथिंग सेफ्टी फैक्टर्स इलेक्ट्रिकल साइड सेफ्टी, मैकेनिकल सेफ्टी, हाइड्रोलिक सेफ्टी, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक सेफ्टी, ये सब ध्यान में रखते हुए बॉम्ब अपडेट करना पड़ता है, और वो अपडेट करने के बाद मशीन बना के वी हैव टू गिव इट टू द टेस्टिंग. सो इसके अंदर BIS अहमदाबाद ने हमको बहुत सपोर्ट किया टू आवर इंजीनियरिंग पीपल एंड द टेस्टिंग पीपल, एंड अलॉन्ग विद दैट द टीम केम फ्रॉम द दिल्ली फॉर द टेस्टिंग पर्पस ऑफ दैट मशीन. उनका भी बहुत गाइडेंस रहा. विद दैट गाइडेंस एंड सपोर्ट वी कुड एबल टू गेट द लाइसेंस फर्स्ट इन इंडिया. अभी कुछ भी ऐड करो बॉम्ब के अंदर तो पहली चीज़ बोली जाती है, पीपल सेज कॉस्ट बढ़ गई. ऑफकोर्स कॉस्ट बढ़ गई, कॉस्ट बढ़ेगी, मगर इट इज़ फॉर द कंट्री रेपुटेशन. वी डेफिनेटली हैव टू डू द एडवांटेज विच आई सेड अर्लियर. कॉस्ट के लिए मेरा थोड़ा सा अलग व्यू है. जैसे ही प्रोडक्ट सब मैन्युफैक्चरर के लिए मैंडेटरी की जाएगी, उस टाइम पे सबके कॉस्ट बढ़ेगी. बॉम्ब के अंदर अगर ए मैन्युफैक्चरर की कॉस्ट अगर बढ़ती है तो B, C वाली भी बढ़ेगी. सो इन शॉर्ट हमारा आज का जो डिफरेंस है विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू द कॉस्ट, हमारा कॉम्पिटिटर के साथ जो डिफरेंस है वो डिफरेंस तो सेम ही रहने वाला है. सो वी शुड नॉट वरी अबाउट द कॉस्ट इंक्रीज, बिकॉज जो चीज़ आज हमको ऑर्डर मिलाने के लिए जो सेल्स को एफर्ट करने पड़ते, सेम एफर्ट्स वी हैव टू डू इवन आफ्टर इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ द स्टैंडर्ड. अभी स्टैंडर्ड इम्प्लीमेंटेशन एज आई सेड नॉट ओनली टू बी डन बाय मैन्युफैक्चरर्स, द पीपल हु आई मीन द पार्ट्स विच आर गेटिंग यूज इन टू द मशीन, उनको भी ये BI स्टैंडर्ड लेने का बहुत ज़रूरत है, एंड दैट विल ऑल्सो मेक मैंडेटरी. और सप्लायर्स को भी हमको उसी तरह से हेल्प करनी है. खाली ऐसा नहीं कि मैन्युफैक्चरर ने बना दिया मगर वो सेफ्टी स्टैंडर्ड से नहीं भी बनेगा, बिकॉज पार्ट्स BI स्टैंडर्ड वाले नहीं है, तो उसको भी हमको सपोर्ट करने की ज़रूरत है. विथ ऑल दिस बेसिकली क्या होगा, हमारा रिलायबिलिटी इंडेक्स बढ़ेगा. कोई भी मशीन हम बनाते हैं तो रिलायबिलिटी इंडेक्स बढ़ा, इसका मतलब मशीन शुड स्टार्ट द प्रोड्यूसिंग द मोमेंट इट इज़ गेटिंग प्लग इनटू द इलेक्ट्रिकल सप्लाई. मशीन गया, प्रोडक्ट गई, उसका कमीशनिंग हो गया, इंस्टॉलेशन हो गया, कमीशनिंग हो गया, बाद में द मोमेंट इट इज़ गेटिंग स्टार्टेड गिवन द पावर, इट शुड स्टार्ट प्रोड्यूसिंग द पार्ट्स. सो प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी शुड स्टार्ट द मोमेंट इट इज़ गेटिंग पावर ऑन. ये चीज़ स्टैंडर्ड्स की वजह से डेफिनेटली हमको बहुत बेनिफिट मिलेगा. कंट्री का रेपुटेशन तो बढ़ेगा ही बढ़ेगा, साथ में मशीन विच वी सेंड इट टू द अब्रॉड, देयर ऑल्सो विल गेट द मोर माइलेज. सो विथ दिस थॉट ऑफ द स्टैंडर्ड एज ए कैटलिस्ट, आवर करंट थीम जो है मेक इन इंडिया, आई थिंक दैट कैन बी रिफ्रेश एज मेक इन इंडिया वर्ल्ड क्लास मशीन्स. वो चीज़ के हम लोग डेफिनेटली जा सकते हैं विथ ऑल द इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ दिस. विथ दिस आई एंड माई talk, but the main, I hope I could able to convey the main points, what the standard is and what are the benefits of it. Thank you.
थैंक यू महाजन सर। अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं BIS सक्सेस स्टोरी की ओर। हाल ही में राजकोट ब्रांच ऑफिस द्वारा ऑल इंडिया फर्स्ट लाइसेंस दिया गया है MRG कंपोजिट्स इंडिया प्राइवेट लिमिटेड, जो कि IS है 18256। प्रोडक्ट का नाम है सॉलिड राउंड ग्लास फाइबर रेनफोर्स्ड पॉलीमर GFRP बार्स फॉर कंक्रीट रेनफोर्समेंट। अब मैं MRG कंपोजिट्स के प्रतिनिधि से अनुरोध करता हूँ कि वे मंच पर आए और अपनी सक्सेस स्टोरी यहाँ पर साझा करें। MRG कंपोजिट्स।
Good afternoon, all. Yes. I would like to first thank the BIS team as well as the Vibrant Gujarat for the invitation. And we have been awarded as the All India First BIS license holder for IS 18256. That's for GFRP bars. It has been a long journey from formulating the standards with our team and then being the All India First BIS license holder. So I would just like to thank them, and that's it. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
थैंक यू। अब मैं वी गोपीनाथ सर को और जितने भी हमारे गुजरात में स्थित ब्रांच ऑफिसेज हैं उन सब से अनुरोध करता हूँ कि वे डाइस पर आए एंड अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें। एंड अनिता मैम ऑल्सो। थैंक यू। अब मैं श्री वी गोपीनाथ सर DDGW सर से निवेदन करता हूँ कि वह हमारे गेस्ट स्पीकर श्री अमित प्रशांत जी, डीन ऑफ एक्सटर्नल रिलेशंस IIT गांधीनगर को भारतीय मानक ब्यूरो के परिवार की तरफ से एक छोटे से मोमेंटो के साथ उनका फेलिसिटेशन करें। श्री जिग्नेश चौकसी जी, एसोसिएट वाइस प्रेसिडेंट वेल्सपन अंजार को भारतीय मानक ब्यूरो की और परिवार की तरफ से एक छोटे से मोमेंटो के साथ फेलिसिटेशन। गेस्ट स्पीकर स्क्वाड्रन लीडर संजय वशिष्ठ जी, चीफ मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ऑफिसर अंबुजा सीमेंट लिमिटेड कोडिनार। गेस्ट स्पीकर मिस अनिंदिता मेहता जी, चीफ एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफिसर कंज्यूमर एजुकेशन एंड रिसर्च सेंटर CERC। गेस्ट स्पीकर श्री मुकेश महाजन जी, श्री सीनियर डायरेक्टर मुकेश महाजन जी, सीनियर डायरेक्टर फेरोमेटिक मिलाक्रॉन इंडिया लिमिटेड। नेक्स्ट हम ऑल इंडिया फर्स्ट लाइसेंसीज को सम्मानित करना चाहेंगे। हाल ही में अहमदाबाद ब्रांच ऑफिस द्वारा ऑल इंडिया फर्स्ट लाइसेंस ग्रांट हुआ है IS 16819 ISO 12100, जो कि प्रोडक्ट है मशीनरी एंड इलेक्ट्रिकल इक्विपमेंट सेफ्टी ऑमनीबस टेक्निकल रेगुलेशन। जैसा कि अभी सर लेक्चर यहाँ पर देखे गए हैं टेक्निकल सेशन, मैं उनसे अनुरोध करता हूँ कि वे मंच पर आए और अपना सम्मान ग्रहण करें। या नेक्स्ट ऑल इंडिया फर्स्ट लाइसेंस। नेक्स्ट ऑल इंडिया फर्स्ट लाइसेंस जो कि ग्रांट हुआ है राजकोट ब्रांच ऑफिस द्वारा IS 18256 MRG कंपोजिट्स इंडिया प्राइवेट लिमिटेड है। प्रोडक्ट है सॉलिड राउंड ग्लास फाइबर रेनफोर्स्ड पॉलीमर बार्स फॉर कंक्रीट रेनफोर्समेंट। मैं फर्म से अनुरोध करता हूँ, उनके प्रतिनिधि से अनुरोध करता हूँ कि वे मंच पर आए और अपना सम्मान ग्रहण करें। मैं सभी हेड्स DDGW मैम से अनुरोध करता हूँ कि वे अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें। अच्छा, डेस्कटॉप कैलेंडर के लिए विमोचन के लिए सबसे अनुरोध करता हूँ कि जस्ट विमोचन करें। थैंक यू सर। तो सभी अपना स्थान ग्रहण करिए, DDGW सर, हेड्स एंड मैम। अब मैं मंच पर ऋतुराज सर, साइंटिस्ट ई, हेड गांधीधाम ब्रांच ऑफिस को आमंत्रित करता हूँ ताकि वे आप सभी का BIS की ओर से धन्यवाद के साथ इस कार्यक्रम का समापन करें।
धन्यवाद शुभम। सबसे पहले मैं धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगा इंडस्ट्रियल एक्सटेंशन ब्यूरो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ गुजरात का, जिन्होंने हमें यह प्लेटफॉर्म दिया जिसमें कि हम एक बहुत ही सार्थक चर्चा कर पाए स्टैंडर्ड्स एज ए कैटलिस्ट फॉर आत्मनिर्भर भारत। उसके बाद सबसे प्रथम मैं हमारे DDGW श्री V गोपीनाथ जी का बहुत बहुत आभार व्यक्त करना चाहूँगा, जिन्होंने अपना समय निकालकर इस बैठक को बहुत ही सार्थक बनाने में अपना सहयोग दिया तथा सभी स्पीकर्स के जितने भी उनके वक्तव्य थे उनमें से बहुत मूल्यवान प्रश्नों को आगे चिन्हित किया और एक बहुत ही सार्थक बहस को उन्होंने पूरी तरह परिचालित किया। साथ ही मैं धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगा सभी स्पीकर्स का, श्री आदित्य जैन DGM NDDB, जिन्होंने डेयरी से जुड़े कई स्टैंडर्ड्स के बारे में, जो कंटेम्प्रेरी स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं उनके बारे में हमें अवगत कराया। डेयरी इंडस्ट्री में जो अलग अलग उत्पाद हैं जिनके बारे में जो हमारे कंज्यूमर्स हैं उनके मन तरह तरह की भ्रांतियाँ हैं उसके बारे में उन्होंने अवगत कराया और यह जोर दिया कि अब हमें किस तरह और स्टैंडर्ड्स में और किसी तरह उनको और रेलेवेंस बनाने के लिए इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड्स को हमारे भारतीय परिस्थितियों के हिसाब से अनुकूल बनाने के लिए किस तरह की हमें पहल करनी चाहिए, उस पर उन्होंने बहुत सार्थक चर्चा करी। उसके बाद श्री संजय वशिष्ठ जी, स्क्वाड्रन लीडर अंबुजा सीमेंट से, उनका मैं बहुत हार्दिक आभार करता हूं कि जिन्होंने हमें स्टैंडर्ड्स, सीमेंट के स्टैंडर्ड्स के बारे में बताया, किस तरह वो एक देश की अर्थव्यवस्था को प्रदर्शित करते हुए कि उस सीमेंट की कंजम्पशन और सीमेंट से जुड़े स्टैंडर्ड्स में जिस तरह की उसकी महत्ता है उसके बारे में अवगत कराया। उसके बाद श्रीमती अनिदिता मेहता जी ने हमें, जो CEO ऑफ CERC ऑफ कंज्यूमर एजुकेशन एंड रिसर्च सेंटर की हैं, इन्होंने हमें जो कंज्यूमर्स में जो स्टैंडर्ड्स के प्रति जागरूकता होनी चाहिए और स्टैंडर्ड्स के जो बनाने में जो कंज्यूमर्स की आवाज़ को जो हमें महत्व देना चाहिए उस पर काफ़ी बल दिया। और उसमें हमारे BIS के जो सार्थक प्रयास, स्टैंडर्ड्स क्लब्स और विभिन्न मानक संवाद, मानक मंथन के बारे में जो हमें प्रोत्साहन दिया, वह बहुत ही सराहनीय था हमारे लिए और मैं उनका बहुत हार्दिक धन्यवाद करता हूं। उसके बाद श्री जिग्नेश चौकसी जी, जो एग्जीक्यूटिव VC हैं वेल्सपन कॉरपोरेशन के, इन्होंने हमें अब जो आज की डेट में आगे हमें ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन की ट्रांसमिशन की जो आवश्यकता पड़ने वाली है ग्रीन एनर्जी के लिए, उसके लिए हमें किस प्रकार अपने मानकों को तैयार करना होगा और किस प्रकार हमारी इंडस्ट्री को रेडी रहना होगा, उसके बारे में इन्होंने अपनी बहुत ही एक अच्छी प्रेजेंटेशन से हमें जागरूक करवाया। हमारे साथ श्री अमित प्रशांत जी थे, डीन IIT गांधीनगर से, जिन्होंने एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण विषय पर हमें जागरूक किया कि जो पढ़ाई हमने 20 साल पहले कर ली है वो आगे भी उतनी ही रेलेवेंट रहती कि नहीं रहती, तो उसके लिए एक कंटिन्यूस लर्निंग प्रोसेस का होना बहुत ज़रूरी है। ख़ास तौर पे उन्होंने इंजीनियर्स के लिए जो स्टैंडर्डाइज इसकी चर्चा करी, ये हमारे लिए एक बहुत रोचक और नया विषय था। इस पर BIS सोच सकता है कि इसे किस प्रकार इम्प्लीमेंट किया जाए। और श्री मुकेश महाजन जी, डायरेक्टर फेरोमैग्नेटिक मिलाक्रॉन इंडिया से, इन्होंने भी अपने BIS के लाइसेंस के दौरान जो उनके अनुभव है वो साझा किए, किस प्रकार स्टैंडर्ड्स में मशीन सेफ्टी और इनका होना बहुत उपयोगी है। तो इन सभी स्पीकर्स की चर्चाओं के साथ जो हमें हमारे BIS की सारे जितने भी प्रतिनिधि हैं जिन्होंने इस चर्चा को सार्थक बनाने में महत्वपूर्ण योगदान दिया, सारे BIS के गुजरात के प्रमुख और सारे आयोजनकर्ता और आप सभी प्रतिभागी जिन्होंने इस सार्थक बहस को बहुत ही, सार्थक चर्चा को बहुत ही एक सही दिशा प्रदान करी, मैं आप सबका बहुत बहुत आभार और अभिनंदन करता हूँ। धन्यवाद।
अब मैं V गोपीनाथ सर से DDGW से निवेदन करता हूं कि हम सभी गेस्ट स्पीकर्स जो यहां पर प्रेजेंट थे उनको वाइब्रेंट गुजरात एसोकैम की तरफ से छोटे से मोमेंटो के साथ फेलिसिटेशन करें। जस्ट सिंगल सभी स्पीकर से मैं अनुरोध करता हूं कि वे मंच पर आए। सभी यस ठीक है, थैंक यू। आप सभी से निवेदन है, लंच का जो प्रबंध किया गया है वो फर्स्ट फ्लोर कैंटीन में किया गया है, हॉस्टल डी सिल्वर डाइनिंग फर्स्ट फ्लोर, हॉस्टल डी सिल्वर डाइनिंग फर्स्ट फ्लोर, जो कि फर्स्ट फ्लोर है कैंटीन। और डी सिल्वर जस्ट अभी बाहर एक पर्सन है, वो जस्ट सबको कन्वे कर देगा क्या रास्ता है बेसिकली।